and start recording.
Great. Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences. Linus is here, sorry.
It's okay.
That's right, in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and allow for open dialogue. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally. Welcome, everyone, and thank you, Kim, for being here this evening.
Absolutely.
Well, we are excited. Wait, don't start talking yet. I want to be able to introduce you, okay? But I'm really excited to have you here. So first of all, as you all know, Kim is a friend of mine. She's also a member of Helping Parents Heal here in Phoenix and Scottsdale, as well as in Cave Creek. And she is just one of the nicest people you would ever meet. And she does a lot for other people. But let me tell you just a little bit about her journey. Her son, Derrick, passed on April 25th, 2017, after a long battle from complications of myasthenia gravis. His story is about what has come from her family's devastating loss. During those first several days, friends approached her family about what cause Derrick was passionate about so they could donate. The answer was Kim had no idea. But in the midst of overwhelming grief and anguish, she knew she had to do something to honor Derrick. She had just read a passage in the book, still right here. Her friend, Elizabeth, had a son pass as well. She wrote, "It's our job to go forward and make something of their legacy in our own lives to honor our kids." Derrick came to her in her sleep that night. He told her exactly what he wanted her to do and how to do it. It was a pivotal moment in her healing and the inspirational moment for the idea of the Healing Cross Project. It had Derrick written all over it. He guided her every step of the way and was able to help her make it a reality. After all, his life now does have meaning. So please, without further ado, join me in welcoming Kim Courtney, Derrick's mom and the head of the Healing Cross Project.
Thank you. I'm honored that you asked me to be a guest today. I want people to know that however your child transitioned, we all end up at the same place. My son happened to have myasthenia gravis. He suffered for 14 years with it. And during that process, I used to say to him, I said to my husband, to my family, what is the point of him suffering so much? And I didn't have the answer. He didn't have the answer. And it wasn't until actually recently, so he died a little over 3 years ago, and I happened to be in church a couple weeks ago, and the sermon was on healing and forgiveness and illness. And it came to me right then and there that Derrick got this disease and suffered for 14 years before he transitioned so he could be saved. And I don't know if that resonates with many people or not, but it really resonated with me. So in the beginning of our journey, when my husband and I found him on the floor of his bedroom, and I knew that he was already gone. I will tell you though, when I walked into his bedroom, or we were coming down the hallway to the bedroom, there was the brightest white light coming out of the doorway that I have ever seen. And now I know that it was spirit coming to get him. I didn't know it at the time. And what Elizabeth was talking about earlier, many, many people came to us and wanted to know how they could contribute, where did they want to donate money, and I didn't have a clue. Like she said, several days later, Derrick did come to me in a dream, and he told me verbatim what he wanted me to do, who was to get involved, and what to call it. And so he told me it would be called the Healing Cross Project. And several days later, his funeral took place, and I spoke at his funeral and told the 500, 600, 700 people there, this is what I was going to do. And I must have had 24 people come up to me after the service, said, I want to get involved. They didn't care what it was, how it was, but they wanted to be part of this. Derrick went so far as to telling me who of our friends I was supposed to go speak to, and he would guide me. And sure enough, that's what's happened. And I want to show you all. Here's the cross today. And this tag up here says, this is a gift to you in memory of our son, Derrick Courtney. You can keep it or pass it along to anybody in need. And on the cross that's made out of metal, it says, you are never alone. And that is what my son wanted and still wants everybody to know. There's always somebody for you to turn to. Even in your darkest hour of devastation and grief, we are here for you. The Healing Cross Project is here for you. And we will wrap our arms and our love around you to help you to get through the next stage of your journey. I always say, and I said this in the documentary I was part of, if there was a school for grief, I would have failed. I would have been kicked out because even though I guess it's because I was grieving for 14 years, I really didn't get a grasp of how to grieve. And I wanted so much for Derrick to show me signs. He and I were stuck like glue. I took care of him 24/7. So I knew that if he were the first one to cross over, he would come communicate with me immediately. We'd have these everyday ongoing conversations. Well, I'm here to tell you that didn't happen to me. And so for the first couple weeks, I was beside myself. I didn't know, I thought that he had gone to heaven, but I thought, where the heck are you? Why aren't you coming to me? And then it's kind of like it's all meant to be. I will tell you all this. One of my clients, whose name is Michelle Ziff, who is on tonight, she was a client of mine. And I own a swim school, and her children took lessons from me. And Garrett, her son who had passed over, had been with me over 20 years ago. She called me up, and I don't know if she remembers this, but she called me up and said, you're going to get yourself out of bed, and you're going to come, and you're going to meet this fabulous woman. I said, no, I'm not going, I don't care about anything. Well, she convinced me to go, and I walked into the restaurant, and there was Elizabeth. And both of these women, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, had their hair done, had the makeup going on. They were very poised, and I was sitting across from them. And I remember thinking in my head, and I say this to many people, I want to have whatever they're having. I want to be able to walk out of here and know the secret, like it was some big out of hemisphere type of thing. I want to know what they're doing because I want to be there. And I did not want Derrick's disease and therefore his death to amplify who I was. I didn't want that to be like baggage on me. I wanted to have a clear purpose, of how I was going to share his legacy. That's why he came to me in my dream. And so we started working on the cross project. We did all the steps that you need to have a nonprofit. Many of you have done that. So you know it's not just something you say, oh, I'm going to do this nonprofit, and the next day you have it. Well, that's not how it works. It takes time. Anything worthwhile takes time. But because of Michelle reaching out to me, and she knew how I felt because Derrick had transitioned several years before that. And of course, Elizabeth knew how I felt. I said, whatever they're doing, I'm going to do. And so 3 weeks after Derrick passed away, I went to my first Helping Parents Heal meeting. And it was at the home of Carol Allen, who I also knew from swim. And I looked around the room, and there were 6 women there who actually had been clients of mine. They looked stunned to see me as I was them. That was the start of my journey with this group. But let me tell you, they are more like family than my family. They're the ones that I could and have called any time of day or night to say, what am I doing? I feel like I'm sinking. I don't get this. I don't understand it. Help me. And they have been there. And everything that they suggested, the books, the research, anything that anybody in that group suggested, I did. And slowly but surely, time is definitely on our side. Each day got a bit easier. And I'm not talking about miles easier. I'm talking maybe a quarter of an inch and then an inch. I remember saying at a meeting, I want to know when I'm going to care about washing my hair again or putting on makeup again. And maybe you all can relate to that. I didn't want to do it and I didn't care. I just, that's where I was at. And I will tell you, I'm a very deeply spiritual person. And the morning that our son passed away and all the first responders came, I actually knew a lot of them because they had taken lessons from me. And I ended up consoling them instead of the other way around. And I said to them, God is good. That this might not have been, I prayed for a miracle for years for Derrick. But that day that he took his last breath and his spirit came to get him, and the people in my family came to get him, it was his miracle. It was his time. It was his exit. And it did take me a while to understand that. But I was being very selfish, saying, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to take him to another doctor. He can have another surgery. He can have another pain med. I just want him around. I just want him here with us. Well, that was very selfish on my part. Because what was happening is his body was saying, no way. And he was on the last chapter of his life here on earth. And he knew when it was time. He knew, and I had to eventually accept that, which I did. And I got very involved with Helping Parents Heal. I also got involved with our own charity. And because of this charity, we have sent crosses out to thousands upon thousands of people all over the world. And it is not a religious cross, and it never will be. But what it is a message to all of you and anyone that there is hope, that there is a silver lining, but most importantly is you are never alone in this journey we call life. And that is my son's legacy, is to help as many people as possible and spread the word. And it doesn't take any donation. It doesn't take anything on your part. If you'd like to have a cross, if you want me to send you 10 crosses, you just go to the healingcrossproject.com and request a cross, and we will send it to you. And it needs to be a daily reminder that there is good in the world, And I know the devastation and the hurt and the grief you have felt, like we have felt, not having our children here physically. But I will tell you, they are here. I was probably the last one and thousands of you to really understand and recognize the signs. But I'm going to tell you a couple different things that are pretty precious to me. We started having a gala to honor Derrick and Derrick's life, and we honor a recipient of the Healing Cross every year. So obviously 2020 came and went, and because of the pandemic, it was canceled. But last year, we had our event, and it actually was, a day before Derrick transitioned, 2 years previous. And I'd gone to see Suzanne Wilson, like a week beforehand. She was so excited for me to come. She said, the kids have been here all day bugging me about what you need to know. And I went and spoke to her because I wanted to make sure, and even to this day, I want to make sure that I recognize what Derrick wants me to do and how and who I'm supposed to help. So Derrick spoke to Suzanne and let me know the songs he wanted me to have played and who I was supposed to recognize, and that to let me know that if I became at a loss for words, which is rarely seen, that they would be there, the kids would be there, Elizabeth's son, Michelle's son, they would all be up there with me to urge me and for me to help me find the words. And even to this day, I never prepare for any speech, any talk show. I ad-lib because I know the kids are here and will talk to me in my ears about what is important for these people to hear. And so I'm forever grateful that I've gotten to know Elizabeth, Irene, Michelle. There are so many people. And if you tap into this nonprofit, Helping Parents Heal, I can promise you, your life will change. It is like the Bible for me. It is important for me to spend time with these moms and dads, these mediums, the books, as it is for me to go and worship my God in church. And I want you all to have the same sense of well-being, peace, and love that I have every day of my life, because I know my life has meaning and that I will not compromise my values for anything or anybody, that I will not change the mission of the Healing Cross Project for anybody except for Derrick. As with Helping Parents Heal, I feel I'm so connected with that group, and there's people all over the globe. I am blessed, beyond blessed, that I happen to live in Scottsdale, Arizona. And some of the people that are involved in this wonderful group happen to live here too. So I feel touched and blessed that I have that. But at the same time, Elizabeth has spent countless hours, as well as Irene, on bringing all these Zoom meetings for you so you can feel as in touch with this group as I do every day. And there's a meeting all the time. There's always someone there to say, hey, I've got your back. And that's very comforting to know, because the people outside this family, although they show respect for me and they understand the journey I'm going on, they don't understand the journey unless you've lost a child. It is a totally different path than when you lose. I lost my sister, I lost my mom, and I lost Derrick all within 1 year. And the grieving process is different for all three of those experiences. And by far, losing my child has been and will always be the most difficult, but it does not have to define who I am and what I am doing in my life. So I'd love to have anybody that has questions for me, something that's on your mind that I can share with you.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I love you so much, Kim, and you know that. If you guys can all imagine how fun it is to have Kim in a group that I'm a part of, because she has the biggest heart. Going to these events that she has, and they're not just events, they're galas. We get all dressed up, and it doesn't cost very much, but she raises money to be able to give to someone who needs it. And actually, I would love for you to tell about the two recipients that we were able to be a part of, seeing that donation process those 2 years, but also the one that's going to be for next year. And then I also want to just very quickly, before I want to tell you that there's somebody on here who also has her son who passed from Myasthenia Gravis, and it's kind of an amazing thing to have that happen, because Kim, I don't know how uncommon it is, but I know that she's here because of the fact that she needs to hear you speak, and she would love to be able to be connected with you later on. I don't know if she wants me to introduce her to you this evening, but if so, I don't know.
That would be great.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute. Can you unmute yourself, Lynette?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hi, do you hear me?
I do.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I feel like my son guided me to Life After Life show that you were in, and when I saw you speak about your son and how he passed away, I was like in total amazement, because I never knew about this disorder, this disease, until my son was diagnosed with it. And then a couple months later, he had passed away. So when I saw the program and I saw you, I just knew that this meant something, that he guided me to the show and that he guided me to the journey that I'm on now. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to talk to you and that I'm part of this group, because it really has helped me so much. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to talk to you, because I feel like I haven't been able to relate to anybody.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry. I'm so upset. I'm
No.
very happy that I'm able to talk to you and to Elizabeth, and that everybody is here with me.
Absolutely. What's your son's name?
His name is Kyle.
Okay, so I'm sure that Derrick, well with Carly and Garrett and Morgan and all the kids, have connected with him. The thing about myasthenia gravis, and most people don't even know about it, and I did not know about it, but what I found out later was, I thought it was just some random disease that my son got. Well, his grandfather had ALS, and so there is a genetic link, a genetic factor. But I want to tell people that when when a family is suffering with somebody that has some kind of disease like he did, or depression, or addiction, or cancer, that before you open up your mouth and say something, you need to take a step back and really evaluate the surroundings and the environment. I heard from so many people, because they would look at Derrick and say, there's nothing wrong with him. We went from doctor to doctor before he got diagnosed. There's nothing wrong with him. Well, I knew damn well there was something wrong with him. He did too. And so he was finally diagnosed at Barrows Institute in Phoenix. And of course, we got the news. But a lot of people don't understand about this particular disease. So his receptors started dying, much like his MS and ALS. But in this disease, it's your receptors. So the muscles weren't getting the message to work. So this was a guy who was a model and he was a bodybuilder. And all of a sudden he couldn't lift up 10 pounds. He couldn't lift his head off the bed. And for forever, I used to think he's just being lazy. He doesn't want to go to school, blah, 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 blah. Until I really got into it and really researched the disease. I started going to all the appointments with him. And so his muscles were dying. And as a result of that, and I don't know about your lovely son, but your muscles contract, so that causes pain. Mm-hmm. So before long, I had a son that was he had like 5% body fat. He was in the gym all the time. That he now, in my opinion, got addicted to painkillers because they were trying to coordinate all of the medications they was on, but trying to help the pain that he was enduring. And I remember saying to his neurologist, I brought him here and you were supposed to help him with all of this. And now he's addicted to all these painkillers. And so he very politely ushered me out of his office and asked me never to come back. So for someone that is from the outside, they have no idea the pain of the patient or the individual and the family that you go through. The same thing like with depression. And he had terrible depression, but some people have depression and suicidal thoughts. Instead of judging these people, we need to have compassion for one another, especially now during this pandemic. We need to show others in our communities, in our state, in our country, all over the world, that there is somebody that does care about them. And I'm here to tell you, I will be with you. I have your back. I will be with you 24/7 because it is a very isolating, lonely journey that I went on. And even at his funeral, people came up to me and said, well, I just don't understand why he did make it. Why didn't you do more to help him? Well, I helped him for 14 years. The doctors did. It was his time to exit. And that's what's great about helping parents heal, because they taught me and helped me realize and understand that if it hadn't been that day, and Elizabeth told me this soon after I met her, if it hadn't been that day, it would have been the next day or the next day. It was his time to go, and it was his time to end the pain and the suffering that he was feeling day in, day out, and be free once again. And there are days when I sit there and say, gosh darn, I wish I could just hug you and touch you. And I remember and realize that he is here. His physical body isn't here, but what he's doing for me is here. And you, my love, need to remember the same thing, that his physical being, the house that he lived in, might not be here, but his spirit and his love and his aura are here and are with you all the time. Right there behind your shoulder, right there behind that chair, he's there. And you know he's there because he gave you the resources to join this group, know that I was coming on, and for whatever is the universal connection that led you here to hear me today, it's not an accident. It was our children putting it all together. And I want you to believe that and know that. And that there is, I don't have all the answers, I will tell you. He's been gone for 3 years from Earth. And so I look to Elizabeth and Irene and Michelle and Carol. I look to my sisters. I call them mama warriors. I look to them and see where were they at this time in their journey, and what were they doing, and what were their struggles. And you know, all our struggles are the same. It doesn't matter how they left here. The struggle, the grief, it all is real. It's just what you have to decide, is that going to be who makes up the rest of your life? I say no. I say Derrick is with me 24/7, and I will carry on his legacy. I will love him every second of my life, but I will also do good by him and honor those here in my state, in my country, in the world. Honor them by letting them know there is somebody that gives a damn about them, and that somebody cares. And last year, I got involved with showering the homeless. And if you'd asked me before Derrick died, would I be doing that? I can honestly tell you the answer would be no. I could say that I was busy with my own business. I don't want to be exposed to germs and that way of life, and how selfish of me. I got very involved, and we showered thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And they're people like you and me that just had some tough knocks to their life. And everybody's born the same way. We're all here for a purpose. And so my mission and my goal, besides sending these crosses to everybody, is to help as many people as I can. What's going to be your mission? What did your child love? And grow that and bloom where you are planted. If that's in your living room, if it's in your backyard, if it's an office down the street, there are many programs to get involved with and have your life and your child's life so worthwhile. You don't even have to go outside of helping parents heal. Get involved with the chapter near you and really get involved and read what they have. I have learned I'm a totally different person than I was before my son died. And I thought I was deeply rooted. I was very financially successful. I've been married to the same person for over 43 years. I had great children, great grandchildren, but it all changes. You really find out what is really important. And what's important are the people that you surround yourself with and that you can love and they can love on you. And this group of fantastic, spectacular people that actually taught me how to live again. I will never have the words nor be able to thank them enough. But I also know that it was all divine intervention. My son, along with everybody else's kids, guided me to where I needed to be and where I am today. So I always have to remind myself, this is who you stand for and this is what you need to do. And you can wallow in pity and despair and depression. And believe you me, I have, and I probably will. Everybody has moments, but I will pick myself up. I will love who I am and love the mission that I have and the legacy I have to honor my son. So I want you to remember that. I want you to, yeah.
Kim, you're amazing. And I did want to just say that what you do with the thunder showers is just incredible. Not only did you shower all of these homeless in Phoenix, but you brought clothing, you brought hair cutters. It was just an amazing event each time that you did it. I'm blown away by everything that Kim does. But I wanted to just let you know, Patty is saying, amazing message. I feel it was meant for me. I wanted and pushed for my daughter's meds and treatment for her mental illness. She said no. She was done, ready to depart. I was selfish and not listening to what she needed, just what I needed. Thank you, with tons of exclamation points behind that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. And then Cindy's asking a question, and I think it's very interesting. And at the same time, I want to quick say hi to Lisa, who's also part of our group, Lisa Wilcoxon, who's also a psychic medium, which is really exciting.
I love her.
And Cindy is saying, I was told we have an exit window, that my son could have gone sooner back in February 2019. He passed on April 2019, but like this was already predestined. What are your thoughts on this? And I know that you kind of talked a little bit about that. What do you think?
Well, before Helping Parents Heal, I would have said something totally different. But I want you all to know that I have a deep love for my God, and I've always felt that and always had that spiritual connection. So when the time came for Derrick to exit, it was a very surreal experience, like I'm sure all of you felt, that no, this can't be happening to me. And why didn't you give him another day? And why couldn't he be here another week? But the fact of the matter is, God knows how many hairs are on everybody's head. God knows the day we come here and the day we exit. It's all been planned. And I want to tell you something. I want to tell all of you this. And I learned this from my mama warriors in Helping Parents Heal. That when you finally, and it's not succumbing to it, but when you finally get it, when like the light bulb goes off in your head and you finally understand, it's not about accepting, it's about understanding, and you have that aha moment. It wasn't going to change when Derrick was coming in and he was a premature baby and really not expected to be around. And then when he exited, it was all between, it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with God and Derrick. And so it was planned. And I tell you, every day I miss him, but I know he is like so set free. He's with people that he wanted so much to meet. He's surfing. He's body surfing. He's snowboarding. He's climbing Mount Everest with Morgan and all the kids. He is listening to Garrett play with probably Beethoven. You have to learn to open up your mind and realize we are here for like one grain of salt. We are here for such a short time. And Elizabeth always says, we're here because we're still in school. There's something for us to learn. And I believe that. But Derrick's journey on earth was done. He had done everything that he was supposed to do. And that was his exit point. And if you can really believe that and feel that in your heart, your journey will be so much sweeter. And know that you know that you know that your children are in heaven. I have people that say to me, you can't possibly be a Christian if you believe in the afterlife. I wonder how many of you have heard that. And if you go to mediums, you can't be a Christian. Well, yes, you can be, because I am one of them. Yes, you can. And there's talk of the afterlife in the Bible. And my God that I worship wants me to know that Derrick is in his eternal life. He is not suffering. He has no pain. He has no depression, but he is eternally happy. And at the same time, Derrick has learned through all our mom and papa warriors kids how to connect with me on earth. And I probably would have had the lowest grade, like I say, in grief school, because the signs were there. I just didn't, I needed to be hit upside the head and say, excuse me, Kim, but that is a sign. That is not a coincidence, but that is a sign. And if you can open yourself up to it, and don't be afraid to do it, open yourself up to it, the signs will just come. Derrick is not like some of the other kids that I long for to have the signs. Like some of these people have signs daily. But I do want to tell you a little story. And Elizabeth mentioned that Lisa Wilcox is on. She's a very dear friend of ours, and I love her dearly. So a group of us were getting together, and this was quite some time ago. And if she's there, I'd love her to tell it. But she started feeling that she felt dirty and like she had to take a shower, and then she had to take another shower and another shower. And she didn't understand what that was about. Well, Derrick came to her, and I know these aren't the exact words, but Derrick came to her and said, I want my mom to know that when you were washing the feet of the homeless, you were washing Christ's feet. And it was like the light went off. It was an aha moment, because for a long time I said, why am I doing this? I raised the money, and it wasn't about the money, raising the money and spending the money on these people. It was, what is the purpose in this? And I wanted to make sure that I was doing Derrick's work. And of course, Lisa gave me the answer. I was washing the feet of Christ when I was washing the homeless people's feet. Now, some people might say that's a coincidence. I say, no, it is not. That is straight from my son. And I want you to know that you all can put your hand over your heart right now. And some of you might think, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I long for my daughter. I long for my son. But put your hand on here, and that's your heart. And you're here for a reason. You have a beating heart, and you have something to offer someone in your circle, your family, your friends. Maybe it's helping parents heal. Maybe it's somewhere else. And if everybody spent even just like a grain of salt of time to share their story and what it's meant to them and how they can help one another, you have no idea the power that you can have and the impact you can have on one person's life. That's all it takes. If I have impact on one person's life, then I've done my job here.
Well, Kim, I have to tell you, I have people saying that you're such a powerhouse, that they absolutely love hearing what you're saying, that you are amazing, that there are no coincidences. And Lisa is here. Lisa, would you like to just say a word about what Kim was talking about? Can you unmute yourself?
Well, Kim pretty much said it. It was about a week, and I just could not get clean. It was bizarre. I would take a shower, and it would be 10 minutes later, and I would feel like I had to take another shower. I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then we met. It was a Helping Parents Heal event. We got together, and I was sitting next to Kim, and she was telling me about these showers. And just as she said, Derrick dropped into me, and he was telling me about his mother's heart. And he was having me feel the relief that these people felt by what she was doing. And he was telling me how he worked alongside of her to provide this relief to them so that I could share with her what that truly felt like to these people to get a shower. It was like a gift that none other could even really imagine. And he said, tell my mother that the way she washes these people is the same as when Jesus washed the feet, or Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. And Kim, I could just see the awareness come over her face. It was like literally like an oh moment.
Yep, it was.
and it was an incredible honor for me. But I have to tell you, I all of a sudden had that feeling lift from me, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, I finally feel so that, you know, that was truly an honor, and he's just remarkable. In fact, I have his picture. I keep his picture. I keep so many of your children here with me because there are so many of them that touch me, that I work with, that make me tear up, that are just really remarkable.
And Lisa has two absolutely beautiful boys in spirit, Anthony and Michael. And I am so proud to call her a good friend as well. And she's been a lifesaver for so many of the parents in our community as well. But I wanted Kim to talk about another mom who also does, with her daughter, does Reiki healing. And maybe you could just explain that experience for us, because she's just a regular mom and she became psychic after, after all of this happened.
Yeah, when I decided to open myself up and let it all come in, I have been blown away by what has happened to me. But a very dear friend of ours in Helping Parents Heal, Lori Savoy, and her daughter Kaylee started doing Reiki. And I thought to myself, okay, well, I'm up for anything. I'm going to try it. Both of them were there. I didn't know what to expect. I knew that I needed to be open-minded. And it's a type of healing that I felt like I needed to have. And I laid down on their table, and I won't go into everything, but I will tell you something, someone, somehow, spirit took over my body with my healing. And I've actually had this done 3 times now. And each time has become much more significant. So the first time, my legs raised from the table. And so the session is about an hour long. So I'm a pretty fit person. I own a swim school. I'm pretty active. And, you know, I could probably hold my legs up there for, 5 minutes. Well, we're talking now about 45 minutes worth. My legs were lifted in the air, and then my arms were raised up and stayed there for almost the hour. And I had no control over them. It was kind of like mind-blowing, actually, and I spoke to them afterwards. So the next time I had this done, which was about 10, 12 months later, I wanted to have it done, and I wanted to see if I had the same experience. So I was talking to my logic and saying, okay, now if your legs and arms start raising, force them down. So again, the same thing happened. And first, it seems to be unsettling, because what's happening is I'm losing control of my body and something else is taking my body over. So the same thing happened, although this time my head came off the table and my torso was up. So I was kind of like in a V. What didn't come off was my rear end. And there I was in that position for a long, long time. Never felt any pain, pressure, wanting to put it down. I tried to put my hands down, but it didn't. And that was, again, mind-blowing. But this last time I had it done, Lori was there, and there was another Reiki master there as well. Same thing happened, although this time my hands came up like this. And that's where they stayed. And they stayed there the entire time. And when the Reiki session was over, and they asked me about what I felt and what I saw, what was communicated to me, and I said, well, I have to tell you, my son Derrick wanted me, and Jesus wanted me to know how it felt for him to be on the cross. And that's the suffering my son went through. Because even up until that time, I didn't understand all the suffering because I didn't feel it physically, emotionally, mentally. I felt it for my son, but I was not recognizing it as myself because I was not the patient. And then during that time, that same intense white, bright light that my husband and I saw when we opened up our son's bedroom door that day that we found him in his bedroom, that same light I saw to my right. It was right there. And it ended up being Christ with my son with their arms around each other. I didn't know exactly who it was in the beginning, but Lori knew it and the other Reiki master knew it. And it was like the most aha moment, really, of my life, that my son was with me, but more importantly, he was standing right by Christ. And that I knew without a shadow of a doubt, he was meant to be there with my son, and that anybody that wants to say that this isn't correct and not okay, it was so good. It was so right. And I will never push anything on anybody. But if anybody has the opportunity to have Reiki, it is the most transforming, healing session that you feel like you're cleansed from head to toe. And I know Michelle had an experience, and she's had Reiki done several times, and so has her son. It is uplifting, it's healing, and you feel this lightness. And you never want to be the way you were prior to that. So I'm always, with the help of all these beautiful women and men, I'm always and will always be in the process of being better, to understand people more, to have more compassion, more love, and be on my journey to understanding the true meaning of my life.
That's beautiful. And I just want to say, to follow up with what you're talking about Reiki, Becky Ostel Clausen, who came and spoke to us already once, her brother transitioned and she started communicating with him. The way that she communicated with him is through Reiki. And the next session, the next Zoom meeting that she's going to hold with us is going to be telling us how to communicate with our loved ones in spirit through Reiki. So I hope that all of you will be on here to be able to hear what Becky has to say. I just want to say that, well, Michelle is saying that for people in Phoenix, Lori does Reiki at Eric's house, which is a house.
Right.
So if anyone's interested here in the Valley to be able to have a session with Lori, one of the things that I thought was the most remarkable was the first session that you had Derrick there. You were getting messages from
Right.
Derrick the whole time.
I felt a pressure and I felt a presence. I didn't know it was him, but it ended up being Derrick was right there, right by my right shoulder, letting me know he was okay and that he was there for me. And he wanted me to go and have Reiki. I really didn't think much about it. Really, I had not, but I know it was him, like putting a little whisper in my ear. You need to go do this. You need to go do this.
Well,
and believe you me, it's another step in my journey.
Well, Kim, I just have to say that having you at our meetings, at Carol's house and at our meetings in Phoenix as well, is one of the funnest things. And going around the circle and having everybody in the beginning talk about all the signs they're getting, and then you'd be there saying, darn it,
Right.
I just can't get these signs. I just don't know why I'm not getting these signs. I'm working so hard. And we kept telling you, you're going to get them. You are, as a matter of fact, you're probably getting them right now.
Yeah.
And now to hear you talking the way that you do, and to know how many people you've helped, because it's just incredible what you've done with the Healing Cross Project and also with the thunder showers. And I can't wait for the, obviously next year when you're going to be able to have the gala again. Unfortunately, it was canceled this year, or postponed is a better word. But anyway, we're almost up to the hour. Do you have any parting thoughts to leave us with?
Just to believe in yourself, believe in the journey that you are on. It is your journey, no one else's. Don't let anybody tell you how to do your journey, but know, always know, you have a network of people that care and love for you. If anybody would like a cross, I'd be happy to send you one. Go to the healingcrossproject.com and just go under request a cross, and we will send this to you. Nothing, we just need your name, address. If you want somebody else to have one, feel free to give me that information. And I'd love to spread his love and his message to everybody.
Well, I don't know how many people on here have an altar for your son or daughter. Raise your hand. If you do, I have my beautiful cross on my altar for Morgan, and I think it's a beautiful place to have it. It's got a beautiful amethyst on it as well.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
And the amethyst, I wear amethyst as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Channel energy.
Yep.
So if, from our kids, so it's wonderful to have that as well. And I have everyone here saying you are very motivating and you give a lot of hope. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and hope and all of your enthusiasm. Kim, you are fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. I needed to hear this. So I just want you to know that I truly appreciate you coming and speaking to all of us. I know you have a lot to do right now, especially with everything that's going on. But I do appreciate it. And before we go, if everybody could, let's see, I'm going to make sure that you can unmute. So go ahead and unmute yourselves and say good night to Kim. And if you need her information for the Healing Cross Project, I'll make sure to put it on the bio when I put it on YouTube. But anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Can you unmute or not? Did I make it so you can't? I don't hear anybody.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Irene and Elizabeth and Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Kim. And thank you all for
Absolutely,
being
it was
here.
my honor. It was my honor. My honor.
Thank
you.
And we'll see you all
Love
next
you, Kim.
Monday. Oh,
Sending love.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.